Okay, welcome back to the Emotional Eating Cycle video series. And today we're going to build some awareness and some understanding around how the emotion of guilt can potentially be impacting and controlling your diet. So we've been through the emotional eating cycle already, so I'm not going to go too much into it. But ultimately, this is getting you to understand that guilt is kind of becoming the thing that upsets you, and then you start that cycle off. All right. So just like the previous videos, we're going to take a bit of a look at the problem, but I've actually gone down a slightly different route here. We're going to actually look at the definition of the word guilt because it's actually a pretty deep word to use around food and especially food guilt. It's quite a negative word, I think, when you say it, but I want to give you some clarity around the definition and then we'll kind of go into it. So guilt is the responsibility for having done something wrong, especially against the law in this case. And the second definition is one that's probably a little bit more fitting to what we're going to talk about today. It's a feeling of shame and regret as a result of bad conduct. Okay, so we're talking about food guilt here. It's caused primarily by people labeling food as being unhealthy. All right, and the key takeaway from this video is to get you into the mindset of there's no such thing as good and bad food. There's no such thing as healthy and unhealthy. All right, I'll go into that in a second. But experiencing food guilt it's really, really common. All right, so don't punish yourself. Don't bully yourself if you think that you feel guilty around the foods that you're eating, because it's so common in this world. Not just in coaching and dieting, like what I do with my clientele, but it's just common in the world in general. People have got this real bad connection between good, bad, healthy, and unhealthy. And what we want you to kind of get clear on here is that if we can get you to understand why food guilt happens and how to overcome it, we can ultimately stop you starting the emotional eating cycle. All right. So we sort of learned last time that triggers can make you eat and make you start the cycle, and ultimately food guilt becomes that. And the food guilt comes from what you're labeling what you eat as. All right. And you're almost like telling yourself off for eating something unhealthy, punishing yourself, if you like. All right. So we want to get really clear on the actual real problem here. Food guilt isn't a problem. Yes, food guilt is the trigger that starts the cycle. But what the actual problem here is, it's back a step, it's zooming out again. Right now, if you're labeling foods good and bad, that's why you're feeling guilt and causing a trigger to happen and causing the cycle to happen. So there's no such thing as good and bad when it comes to food. There's no such thing as unhealthy and healthy. Yes, I understand that some foods have got a better nutrient profile. So what I mean by that is they are more beneficial to your body overall. So for example, a high sugar chocolate bar has got less nutrients in it than a full salad that's got a range of different vegetables and a little bit of fruit and a little bit of carbohydrate and a little bit of chicken in. Yeah, the nutrient profiles are completely different, but ultimately there's no good or bad with them. You are going to eat chocolate bars and salads in abundance through your life. All right, and it's getting you really clear on that the labeling of foods as good and bad is actually what becomes the trigger. The feeling of guilt causes you to overeat. When you overeat some more, and then you feel powerless and guilty around food, and you get stuck in the cycle, the emotional eating cycle, the diet starts Monday cycle, as I said last time, and that's the real problem here. All right, so the real world solution is this, and you've got to get really good at two things here. Tracking all of your food is the first thing, and I can't get this across to you enough. The amount of people, even to this very day, before doing this video for you guys, I've got people that aren't tracking every single piece of their food. So if you have a bag of Percy Pigs, track it. If you have a piece of fruit that's classed as healthy by today's standards, track it. We want you to track every single piece of your food in the early days of working with me. So we know how many calories under or over your calorie average you are, all right? The whole reason for that is so that we can actually teach you how to adjust things to allow for certain foods, because ultimately you are not going to eat the same food all of the time, and you need to learn how to work with the quote-unquote bad foods, the good foods. I want you to have a really good understanding of all of the foods. And the reason for that is this: you have to have flexibility within your diet, because you cannot stick to just a one-size-fits-all diet plan for the rest of your life. You need to be able to walk into a McDonald's, into a restaurant, into a supermarket, into a barbecue, into a kid's party, into a wedding, into literally anything and have a really good solid understanding of what is beneficial to you and your targets and what you should choose to eat for that. All right. And the second thing is we want you to detach the labels once and for all. We want you to get really, really clear on the fact that food is literally just numbers. In your eyes, as you see it on the shelves, it's good, bad, unhealthy, healthy, and all of that. When it goes into your body just sees it as calories and nutrients, and that is it. They don't know, it doesn't know the difference, it just knows how to use it. All right. It's just like money going into the bank. Your role is to get really good at counting it all right? Your bank account doesn't say, well, where did that £10 come from? Where did that £20 come from? Your bank account literally cares about what's going in and what's going out, and that's it. And when you can sort of see it like that and using money as a bit of an analogy, it's going to allow you to understand how important it is to just sort of let go. And I know it's really hard because you've maybe had this issue for 5, 10, 15, 20 years in some people's cases that I've worked with, but at this stage of where you're at, we don't need to split the hair of how many grams of this, how many grams of that. Should I eat carbohydrate? Should I have protein shakes? Do I need this amount of nutrients? We just want you to get really good at using all of the data so we can actually build the flexibility into your diet so we can give you the consistency over time to actually see the result. Once you've got the result, we can then start splitting the hair of, adding little bits and pieces in, all right? But right now, we want you to get really good at understanding that the labels that you've got attached to food is actually what's causing the trigger, which is causing the cycle to start, all right? And it's the reaction to that and the choices that you're making around that that ultimately dictates to how you recover to that cycle starting, all right? So going back to what we said about the healthy you pendulum, yeah, getting you into a true center. If we can maximize your flexibility within your diet, if we can get you to let go of good, bad, healthy and unhealthy and get you to understand that it's just like money going into your bank account, we want you to get all the data in, get all the calories accounted for. If you're consistently over your calories, yes, you will gain weight, but we can fix that, all right? But we can't fix that if we've got a misrepresentation of what you're actually eating, all right? Give me all of the data, put it into your software, make sure that everything is tracked, because I can then show you how to have whatever you want to eat and then actually explain to you why or what you need to do to allow you to have that level of flexibility in your diet. If you're swinging too far one way, like we said last time, if you're going into way too much flexibility and you are going to have to start changing things about your diet and all of that to actually get back to the true center version of you to get the consistency, well, we can make that adjustment and make it realistic for you, all right? Just like going the opposite way, if you are way healthy all the time, you're going to get to the point where you start refusing to go to things like barbecues and parties and meals out with your friends. And we want to make sure that the 3 pillars of health stay constant: social, mental and physical. Yeah. So we need to make sure that we get you back to your true center and make sure that your healthy pendulum is not constantly swinging a yo-yo on, as we would potentially call it, give it a diet in term. All right. So what we want you to get really, really clear at, or good at and clear at, or however I say it, is that there's no such thing as good and bad food. All right. And the real world solution is getting you to detach these labels once and for all and just understand that, just like money going into your bank account doesn't care where the money comes from. It just wants to let you either spend it, save it, or whatever, invest it. Do you know what I mean? We are going to go into the whole thing of how we can use money as a bit better understanding in a later video. But ultimately, the target here is this. We need you to be in the center, to get consistent, to get the result. Then we'll start splitting the hairs of what's good for you, what's bad for you, and what should be included in the diet to fit what you want to achieve and where you actually want to go with your progress and how much flexibility that you want to have. All right. So, you know the spiel by now. Like this video so I know you've seen it. Comment, tag, add me to the comments if you've got any questions or anything like that you need answered straight away. And if not, I'll speak to you all soon and I'll see you in the next video.